In a future world, humans no longer need to replenish energy through eating, they only need to immerse their bodies in special nutrient fluids. They can even conduct company meetings in these fluids. However, only a few wealthy businessmen can enjoy such privileges. The seductive woman in question is Elise, the chairwoman of Sin Technology Company, the largest pharmaceutical company in the city. Suddenly, the leader of the underworld, Mancini, pays her a visit. It turns out that Sin Corporation, disguised as a pharmaceutical company, has been conducting research on marijuana and mutants behind the scenes. As the leader of the underworld, Mancini naturally becomes her partner, and he has always lusted after Elise's beauty. They form a powerful alliance and hold the entire city in their hands. However, Mancini underestimates Elise's ambition. Elise is currently conducting experiments on mutants. She demonstrates the latest experimental results to him using projections. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Earth, a mutant manages to annihilate an entire tank army. Elise proudly claims it to be the successful result of her father's research, and this mutant is the most powerful being on Earth. However, one last step remains the final key. The key she refers to as a young girl who was the subject of her father's experiments. Mancini is already envisioning their future together. To celebrate their impending victory, Elise orders a servant to bring wine. After drinking it, Mancini starts feeling unwell. He never expected that Elise would use him as an experimental subject and attempt to transform him into a mutant. Amidst his screams of agony, Mancini gradually loses consciousness. Everything was part of Elise's plan. Now, she only needs her subordinates to bring her the key. The girl who is currently held at the Ironstone police station. Not long ago, Blade was on a mission with his partner, get the girl out of there, but unfortunately, coworker Jesse was invaded by mutant. Blade had no choice but to shoot. Killed Jesse. The girl, Sinclair, is the last clue. Blade keeps her close, intending to uncover the mastermind behind the mutants and avenge his comrade. That's when a woman approached him with orders from her superiors. She wants to interrogate Sinclair. However, Blade pays no attention until the woman reveals herself as Armac, Jesse's sister, who has the sole purpose of avenging her brother. Only then does Blade allow her to meet Sinclair, but the girl's emotional state is highly unstable, and they can't get any useful information from her. Armac gives up and leaves. Just then, Blade receives intelligence that a mutant has appeared in District 3. He immediately leads his team to provide support. The Vanguard squad arrives at the designated location and finds only a young girl. As they approach, they realize it's Sinclair. When the squad member tries to take her away, the teddy bear in Sinclair's hands tears the man's body in half. The Vanguard squad's simple weapons are no match for the mutant, who swiftly eliminates them. Blade arrives in time to witness his teammates die before his eyes. What baffles him is why Sinclair is present in this situation. After a fierce battle, the mutant reveals its true form. Blade formulates a battle plan. He will feign an attack while the team provides firepower support from the flanks, and then they will use an anti-tank missile to eliminate the mutant. However, as Blade approaches, the mutant's face transforms into Jesse's likeness. Mutant took this opportunity to cut off his weapon. In a critical moment, Kate reminds Blade, and he uses an anti-tank missile to eliminate the mutant. Meanwhile, Mancini arrived at the police station. With his enhanced abilities after the transformation, he swiftly dealt with the guards and headed straight to Sinclair's room. In a crucial moment, Armac intervened to stop him, and yet, the weapon in her hand couldn't hurt Mancini. Fortunately, Lem appeared just in time. Seeing Lem's appearance, Armac was reminded of her own brother and couldn't bring himself to shoot a comrade. Taking advantage of the situation, Mancini easily incapacitated her with a single blow, and then killed Lem and took Sinclair away. When Blade and the others returned to the police station, they found it in utter chaos. Armac sat motionless on the steps, blaming himself for not being able to protect Sinclair. They discovered mutant cells on the bodies of the deceased. To the surprise of the crowd, Sinclair's cell, it will cause mutant cells to fission rapidly, make them war machines. However, this research had long been banned due to its anti-human nature, and the creator of mutants, Kolak, had died in an accident 8 years ago. At this point, Armac informed the others that Kolak's daughter, Elise, continued her father's research. It appeared that all of this was orchestrated by Sin Technology Company. The two immediately applied to arrest Elise but were met with refusal from their superiors. Armac was even suspended from duty. Helpless, Blade sought out the former leader of the Mafia, who advised him against acting recklessly since high-ranking government officials had been secretly aiding Elise. And Mancini is the new leader because of Elise. This has also led to many of the gangsters being transformed into mutant. Then he had his men bring in biochemical munitions. This bullet kills mutant cells quickly. At that moment, an airship arrived in front of the apartment, where Kate and Armac joined Blade. The three of them decided to infiltrate Sin Technology Company. Armac attempted to breach Sin Technology Company's firewall and then transmitted the map to Blade. Kate put the spaceship in stealth mode and locked onto the 23rd floor as the point of entry. Meanwhile, Elise was extracting genes from Sinclair when suddenly an alarm sounded. The mainframe had detected intruders. Elise saw Blade and the others through the surveillance cameras but underestimated their audacity to infiltrate the building with just the two of them. She released mutant ambushes. But with the added power of biochemical bullets, these mutants were quickly resolved. Blade continued their advance but soon became trapped in a corridor. Armac attempted to unlock the door, but the wall started spewing bullets as a mutant wielding a weapon emerged from it. However, and yet, he can't find the target. As Blade and his companion had concealed themselves on the wall, Blade swiftly eliminated the mutant with a single shot. Armac discovered that the operating room was on the 75th floor, and they continued their advance. However, when they reached the 73rd floor, Blade suddenly stopped. He sensed a powerful force and decided to investigate it himself. He instructed Armac to continue forward. As Blade entered a room, he discovered it was Mancini. The biochemical ammunition had no effect on him. Mancini severed his own arm, and his blood transformed into tentacles that attacked Blade from all directions. Although Blade had undergone mechanical enhancements, he was still no match for a mutant. In a critical moment, Armac appeared and quickly increased the energy in the room's cables. Blade took the opportunity to insert the cables into Mancini's body. Mancini was ejected in an instant. Before the two could react, Mancini reappeared behind them. Then he lifted Blade up in one hand, but he's still underestimating Blade.
Really don't.
They continued their advance and reached the 75th floor. However, when they entered the operating room, it was empty. Suddenly, a barrier descended from the sky. It was all a trap set by Elise. She had already obtained the data from Sinclair, and the gas released within the barrier was specifically designed to target Blade. They had less than 3 minutes before the poison would take effect and kill them. At that moment, Kate, who was positioned outside, realized that Blade was in danger. She deployed 3 grappling hooks to break through the barrier. Witnessing this scene, Elise unleashed her final trump card, her deceased father. Kolak had been transformed into a super mutant capable of devouring other mutants to increase his own power. Even the biochemical ammunition had no effect on him. Kolak knocks out Blade with a single strike. Kolak aimed to consume Sinclair in order to evolve into his complete form. Seeing Kolak reminded Blade of his past, when his father had given him the opportunity for bio-enhancements to ensure his survival. Hoping that Blade would become an outstanding police officer, this was his chance to prove himself. Suddenly, the mutant that had destroyed the mainframe underwent a mutation of its own. Its energy started to expand rapidly. Armac sees this and uses his base laser cannon to destroy it. Blade escaped through the window with 2 men. The Sin building was blown to smithereens.